is going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
Big Ten champions. Big Ten champs.
National champions, yes.
Oklahoma City bound the Oregon Ducks.
Awesome day to be a Duck, man.
Boom inside. Touchdown Oregon. He gets loose. Fires. Hit. Pops the three. Oh, yeah. It's all Oregon.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider.
It's about how to be a group of people that know how to love each other to the absolute fullest.
Pleasure, joy to be with them each and every day. And I can't wait for the future.
It's just fun to be a part of a community that cares, that is passionate, and when we come together, powerful things can happen.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck Athletics.
The sun is out here in the Willamette Valley. It's looking like a great weekend for Oregon baseball to start the season. The Ducks open it up on Friday, 3 o'clock first pitch against George Mason. That means a 2:45 pregame show for us here across the Oregon Sports Network. We'll cover a lot of baseball today. Also, Jess Drummond, Oregon Lacrosse head coach, will join us after their dramatic come-from-behind win to open their season last weekend at Pat Bay Field. Some Ducks are headed to the NFL Combine, and we continue to review the signing class today. We'll feature the offensive side of the ball for Oregon football. Let's jump into Mark Wasikowski. Every time we talk with Waz, you know it's going to be a fun conversation. 3 o'clock first pitch on Friday. Mark Wasikowski breaking down the offseason, what the Ducks should expect heading into this season. Oregon baseball head coach Mark Wasikowski.
Going back to our conversations in the fall, I'm curious, how have you seen the roster kind of develop heading into the spring? What do you like, and where do you guys feel like you got room for improvement?
It's been a fun group to work with. They're, very serious about their work. They've been disciplined in their off the field stuff to where we haven't had any issues off the field that are distracting, which is really good. That can be a real issue in a lot of college locker rooms, and it's not been that way with this group, which is fantastic. They've been a lot of fun to work with. They're very athletic, a little bit more probably athletic than the club that we had a year ago. And so we'll play maybe a little bit of a different style of play. But overall, it seems like there's depth in a lot of places. There's a lot of new people, right? When you, I think the numbers are something along the lines of about 50% of our wins and 2/3 of our home runs from last year's team aren't on this year's team. And so that's just a factual issue. But other than that, I mean, you look at the facts and you just address them and you see the personnel you have. And so far, I've really enjoyed being around these guys. They look like they're going to be a really good team.
Yeah, you've got a lot of freshmen that probably could be getting ready for some professional baseball instead of being here, but wanted to be here and for passed on that. How have they kind of come along since the fall from what you've seen?
Well, it seems like they're developing really well by the day. And somebody even showed me somebody's fantastic forecast of freshmen out in college baseball. And when Angel I is not listed on there, I really giggle, because the guy is, he should be listed on any top prospect list. And I understand, a lot of the media isn't perfect, just like coaches aren't perfect and players aren't perfect. But, between him and Braden Jackson and so many others that we've got a really talented freshman class. They've been a lot of fun to work with. You're right. They can be and have turned down a lot of money to show up in a Duck uniform instead of being in a professional uniform. There were a couple that got away in that process, that stung, and we really wanted, specifically one. But nevertheless, the guys that are here on campus have been really great kids. It's a team that I think our GPA was really high during the fall. Missed classes weren't an issue. We didn't miss study halls, all that kind of stuff, which is a good indicator of guys just being here for the right reasons and taking care of the business and being mature about it. And that's, the freshman class, I think I can speak to their part of taking care of business. They've been a very mature group so far.
On the right, Rob? Kind of a truism that you want to be strong up the middle, just with the guys you have returning, guys like Maddox and Ryan on the infield, the talent at catcher, the athleticism in the outfield. Can you just speak to that, how you feel about that going into the season?
Really good. When you start with, Cooney and Maloney up the middle, and to be honest, any of those infielders, whether it's Cooney, Maloney, Smith, those three guys, they can play anywhere in the infield, and it'd be a heck of a comparison, and we've seen it play out where you go, who's better at short, Maloney or Cooney? And it's they're both that good. And Ryan has played second, and Maddox has played short, and that's where we'll start it with this year. But that's how good both those players are, and they'll be versatile enough to be able to swing around infields at the professional level and play, any one of those three spots and be able to do it seamlessly with the work they get. But they're really good. And the defense so far in all of our work and scrimmages has been clean. It seems like they have good first steps. There's better range in the outfield, I think, this year. But like I said earlier, we have lost a lot from last year's club, and we're going to need to replace a lot of those numbers.
Hey, Coach. Last year we saw Berkeley Mabius kind of start the year as catcher as Chase kind of came back, and then once Chase was back, we didn't really see Berkeley Mabius that much, and now Berkeley is that top guy. But now there's Braden Jackson, the new freshman, right behind him. What will that kind of look like? Like, will it be like we saw the freshman Berkeley starting last year and then phasing out? Will it kind of be like? Will it be that same dynamic? Or?
No, they're both going to play, and they're both going to play a lot. They can play other places too. Both those kids can play infield spots, outfield spots. They're super athletic, and they're really, really good. When you watch Braden Jackson play, he's not a little kid. This guy's a big kid, and he's probably put on about 20 or so pounds since he's been here. He walked by me just yesterday, and I kind of patted him on the back and went, dang, that was a different, just in a quick touch, and you're going, holy cow, you were, kind of skin and bones when you first got here. And now, obviously, these guys get really physical with Darryl Hunter down there in that weight room, and physicality is one of the things that we really strive for to have in our program, to where the ball does go over the fence, right? And I think we'll hit our share of home runs this year as well. It'll just be with different names.
You guys have a pretty good track record with transfer pitchers, have a big group of transfer pitchers coming in that probably are going to have to contribute right away. What's the key in just getting those guys ready to go right away? And what's the positive of bringing in a guy that maybe has collegiate experience already?
I think it's I don't know if I agree totally with the premise of the question. I agree in part, right? I do think that it's important for whether it's a transfer pitcher or a new pitcher, or specifically, I'll even take it for a step further. The guys that have been here, their development, the Colin Clarks and the Will Sanfords and Michael Mechnas and the Blake Crawfords, and the list goes on. But those guys have really emerged as being really, really good, right? And so their growth and development, I think, is first and foremost before you get to any new player. And so any of those returning pitchers, Ian Umland, who had a tremendous year last year for us, and so many of those kids have really developed, and have really liked the progress of that. The kids that have transferred in, there's some good ones. There's some good arms that have been successful in the past and are coming into the program. Cal Scalari's got a really big arm. I think he gets a lot of the hype that's out there, and he deserves it. It's a power arm, and he's a big kid, and the pro scouts are excited about what they see in him. Miles Costola, he's a loose, whippy, left-handed guy that's, again, pro scouts are super excited to see him. And there's some other kids that have really jumped into, and maybe one that was not coming in with people singing his praises as big as he is, even though he was a junior college All-American. He was a tremendous prep career in the state of Oregon. And that's Luke Morgan, and he's a sophomore right now, and he's a big, strong kid. He came in, as a good pitcher, and it seems like the development that he's even taken over the Christmas break, even through the fall, Christmas break, to where we stand today, big jump, and the kid really looks good. And so I'm excited about those guys, the transfer class, the freshman class that has come in. There's probably 3 or 4 guys that you're going to see at least get some real notable time in that group as well.
Mark Wasikowski, Oregon baseball head coach. Quick timeout. When we return, a little more preview of the start of Oregon baseball season coming up on Friday. Keep it here on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
We know you turn to the Duck Store for all your game day needs, and for students at the University of Oregon, it's even more. Class supplies, jobs, a seat on our board, a place to take a quick coffee break. Because we're your student-first, non-profit college store, every purchase you make directly supports the very community we serve. From working at our counters to studying in the classroom, from directing our stores to cheering in the stands, the people we serve, the students, are the very people who are the Duck Store.
Duck Insider continues after this timeout on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
My name is Ariel. I moved to the U.S. at 19. I spoke no English and I struggled finding job opportunities. Everything I have, I owe to the Adult Literacy Center and getting my high school diploma at age 22.
It was an honor helping you achieve your greatness. Now you're helping others achieve theirs. It inspires me.
When you graduate, they graduate. Find free and supportive adult education centers near you at finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Adoption of teens from foster care is a topic not enough people know about, and we're here to change that. I'm April Dinwiddie, host of the new podcast, Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Each episode brings you compelling real-life adoption stories told by the families that live them with commentary from experts. Visit adoptuskids.org/podcast or subscribe to Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Administration for Children and Families and the Ad Council.
Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. We continue from the Country Financial Studio. Heard a little bit from Mark Wasikowski to open the show. Segment 2, see if he lays down the bunt. Mark Wasikowski, part 2.
Your thoughts on the depth you have from a starting arm and the depth you have in the bullpen that could come in and the options that you have?
It's exciting to see in scrimmage. Sometimes people say, well, we'll see what happens when the lights go on, and we will, right? But I don't buy into so much, light go on versus light goes off. I mean, the lights are on every day at PK Park, and those scrimmages are really competitive, and so I expect to see what we see in those scrimmages on game day, and it's been a really good look so far. It just seems like a balanced team. There's a lot of athleticism in the field. They've played quality defense. Like I said, we'll probably play with a little bit more speed and moving runners a little bit more than maybe we did last year, I guess. But you just play to your personnel, and whatever your personnel can furnish for you, you try to maximize it.
You mentioned Angel, but a lot of production to replace in the outfield. How's that group coming together?
Seems to be coming together pretty good. There's a couple of guys that can run around center field really, really well. Jack Brooks and Elijah Cook and Jax Jimenez. I mean, there's and even another Morgan, a kid named Owen Morgan. Well, Owen Morgan, who's a kid from Colorado, freshman kid that's, a little fire plug. He's a left-handed hitter that's really had a tremendous run right now. And he can play center field. So those 4 kids running around in center field, the range is noticeable for sure. Angel, sometimes Braden Jacks will run around with Burke Mabius out there. They'll catch, and when they don't catch, they'll still be in the lineup probably somewhere. They give us some flexibility. At first base, when you have Hellman and we got a kid that's transferred in now that we knew his family and his high school coach, Eric Barber from Orange Lutheran. This kid has now come in, and Gabe Miranda's a tremendous player. He can run around the outfield and play first base real well. So put up some big numbers. I think it was like Northern Kentucky or something where his last stop was. But, he's a quality young man. And these guys look like they, are big physical kids that are going to be what fans have grown to expect out of our team to look like.
You added Dan Straley to the staff recently, a guy who's familiar with Springfield, Eugene area. Just one, what was the process like bringing him on? And two, what has he added to your staff?
Well, and as of yesterday, they just passed a waiver long overdue for non-coaching staff members, is what they used to call them. They used to have just a few coaches were allowed to actually coach and teach. And so when we first brought Dan in, it was more of a type of an advisor type thing, where he would just come in and he didn't have coaching responsibilities. And as of yesterday, they lifted those responsibility or those rules, I guess, which they allow a guy like Dan Straley to now even coach and teach, even though that's not his title as pitching coach. That's Matt Floor. He'll assist Matt in the bullpen. And think about that, to be able to add Dan Straley and Travis Buck, both those guys probably, I joked about it at a function we had this last weekend, but combined, those guys have probably in just 2 years of play, probably made more than our entire coaching staff combined in our career earnings, and they probably did it in 2 years of pro baseball. So, those guys are really smart guys. They're on our staff. Travis Buck is our director of operations, and he's allowed to be around the field. Dan Straley, he's allowed to be around the field and be able to assist in expanded ways now due to this legislation waiver that it's long overdue, and it's a welcome sign. To have him, those guys can't recruit off campus, but still, yeah, they're huge benefits for our program, and to have those guys as a part of our staff is just tremendous, along with Gavin Grant and Tim Cisnera, Brett Thomas, Jack Martyr, the list goes on. It's if somebody out there has a better coaching staff than I have, that would be a fun discussion to have. We're awfully excited about these guys all on one coaching staff.
Coach, on a similar note, when you have to replace a few coaches this year and you're coming off of your first pitch banquet just this weekend, when you have this connection, these relationships around the baseball community, just not only Oregon alumni like we see at the first pitch banquet, but so many other different baseball personalities and relationships that you have, how far do those relationships go in terms of investment into this program, where you can bring in a guy like Dan Straley as a coach, you can bring in guys to this first pitch banquet to have this positive momentum in your relationships towards Oregon baseball?
Well, I think a lot of the appeal is University of Oregon. This place is awesome, right? With what Carl's doing on top of this thing, and Rob Mullins from the athletic side, but Carl Schultz on the other side of the river. This place is awesome. People want to be here, right? If there's a more popular university in the United States right now, I don't think there is. University of Oregon's the place to be, and people know that. And so whether it's Dan or Travis Buck or whatever, I think it starts with what those guys have done here at Oregon. To build the University of Oregon into that type of an appetite for people to want to be a part of, number one. It helps to have guys like Andy Lopez and George Horton, that I worked for and played for, that, their family trees you can tap into to be able to find out, who the next great coach is that could assist our young guys get better, and our coaches get better, right? And we're just looking to really put as many great people around these young guys as we possibly can, to where they can learn and grow. And now you got guys that have combined for over 15 years of professional baseball, not just professional baseball, but Major League Baseball experience. You add them to the staff, and that's a huge benefit for these young guys, right? These young guys are looking at those guys just walking around in just daily conversations, and some of the stories that you hear and the people that they've come across now. We all learn a lot from each other, which is a healthy culture. And we don't really have a lot of egos. It's not really a situation where we're sitting around all thinking that we got an answer that's the only answer. Our staff meetings are awesome. They really are you could buy a ticket and sit there and learn a ton from them, because I sit there and just go, holy cow, these guys have amazing ideas. The current coaches that I've had now for a couple of years, and the other guys that have now joined the staff, truly blessed. And so from the players that have built this program to where it is today, and everybody else involved, I'm excited to work at the place that, people want to be, University of Oregon.
Just one more follow-up on Dan and Travis, and just as they get more involved in teaching, just can you speak to, in your experience, what the credibility of a guy with, big league experience on his resume, what that's going to mean in terms of the voice he has, the way he's able to connect with your players?
Well, I don't know. I know there's a ton of knowledge. They haven't been allowed to teach yet until here just, I think, yesterday or the day before yesterday. But nevertheless, they haven't been allowed to teach. So I don't know what kind of teachers they really are. I know they are tremendously knowledgeable and experienced people. And so with their personalities, I would think nothing less than they're going to be really dynamic guys and impacts on these young people in a huge manner. So I think just a lot of teaching and coaching is connections. It's wanting to connect, and it's work ethic, and they have tremendous attributes in all those areas.
Really looking forward to the start of Oregon baseball season. That's head coach Mark Wasikowski. 3 o'clock first pitch at PK Park on Friday. 2:45 our pregame show across the Oregon Sports Network. At Pape Field in very deep right field of PK Park. Dramatic comeback over the weekend. Oregon Lacrosse starting 1-0. Head coach Jess Drummond breaks it all down for us next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear Winter, Toyota's got 25 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, and that's more than any other auto brand. So you bring the action, and we'll bring the traction. Toyota, let's go places. Based on manufacturer's websites as of 10/20/25.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear Winter, Toyota's got 25 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, and that's more than any other auto brand. So you bring the action, and we'll bring the traction. Toyota, let's go places. Based on manufacturer's websites as of 10/20/25.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
My mom has taken up going to the park to practice yoga.
My dad's going to a club, but not a book club, a salsa club.
Finding new hobbies comes with age.
My mom has started getting lost and not knowing where she's going.
Becoming lost or disoriented doesn't. Confusion with time or place may be a sign of Alzheimer's. An early diagnosis can help improve the quality of life for your loved one. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Man, I love my kids so much. I once sat for 3 hours in the cold rain to watch her soccer team lose by 18 goals.
I love my kids so much, I once used a tube to suck snot out of her stuffed nose at 3 a.m.
You win.
Love your kids? Love them enough to make sure they're in the right car seat. From toddlers to tweens, visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat to find the right seat for their age and size. Keep them safe. Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Time to talk lacrosse on Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. She's Jess Drummond. Whoop. Coach, you're 1-0.
Yep.
Congrats.
Fired up. Thanks. That was very intense.
That had to be so much fun. Do you wear your watch that gives you readouts during games?
No, I couldn't. During the official video review, I was like, if I looked at my watch, my heart rate, it must be 160.
I was curious, are you getting notifications about high heart rate, blood pressure,
loud noises? I'm like, how do I turn that off?
I'm serious though.
I'm like, great. I want that to be going off the whole game.
In some ways, though, this is what you live for, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Before we talk about that, let's first talk about the fact that you went green scrunchy today.
Yes.
So I am here to manifest the scrunchy giveaway at Cafe Field.
Yeah, how's that going?
Well, so far people have really enjoyed the idea.
Latch onto it. That's a
fantastic
fantastic idea.
I just thought, hey, we could have such a great promotional piece of you wearing the iconic scrunchie. I'm going to say iconic now.
Okay, thanks.
Are you giving away green ones or yellow ones or both?
Probably yellow. And there's a story behind this one. Well, one, I couldn't wear yellow on a yellow sleeve. That just wouldn't match.
I think you could have.
No. Okay. No, it's different yellows. It's just different. Yes.
Oh, slightly different yellow.
Slightly different, yes.
Understand.
But so this one, I have a big yellow one, and Anna Simmons had a big green one, and so we traded, and so this was OG Anna's, and now she has one of my yellow ones. So we swapped.
And it worked out well for those vibes for Anna Simmons scoring the game-winning goal against Arizona State. Also, everyone who can watch the show today, we complimented Coach Drummond's shoes before. How about the Oregon Lacrosse cutoff sleeve hoodie?
Cece does a great job. This is cool. Green and
Tell
yellow.
Ya.
Yeah, I love when there's all the colors.
Unique to Oregon Lacrosse, I bet, too, huh?
Yes.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I know. She's cool.
Look, it's not just the players that have to look good, play good. It's the coaches,
It's the
right?
brand. It's
See?
the brand of Oregon.
It's all for the brand.
Yep.
It's all for the brand. Talking about the brand of Oregon Lacrosse, I know you like to be known as a gritty team.
Yeah.
Boy, gritty
Yeah,
performance.
that
So in all
happened.
seriousness, I mean,
Yeah.
we like to have fun, but man, what a performance.
Yes.
Break it down for us.
Yeah, that was super exciting. That first quarter happened, and I was like, oh, boy. We got to take a timeout and reset ourselves, and that was not how we'd been practicing all week. And so just giving those reminders, focusing on the little things, focusing on our game plan, focusing on what we talked about all week and how we showed up in practices, And I think that was a good reminder of them, like we're capable of. We did make some adjustments pretty fast going into that second quarter, and I think that really helped our defense for sure, going from a zone to a man, swapping out the goalies. So it was really good to just see the team understand those adjustments, and they shouted us out yesterday in team meeting. Or we always go on Monday, we always do takeaways from the game. We're like, all right, so let's talk about our takeaways, some improvements that we made throughout the game, things that we can continue to work on throughout that. And somebody raised their hand, they're like, we just want to thank you for making the adjustments in the play calls for the game. And I was like, what? Okay, first of all, timeout. This is not why we do this. That's super nice of you. But I was like, whoa. But I was like, okay, I appreciate you understand that, and so it was nice to see them.
You know, I'd imagine, like, you always anticipate you're going to have to make some adjustments, especially opening weekend.
Yes,
right?
for sure. You don't know what ASU is going to do. This is the first time playing of season, so yeah.
So there's some of that, but then it sounds like the team was even like, no, we get it, right? We understand it. And to put this in context for fans, it was 5-1 at the end of the first quarter, hence the adjustments, right? But then in the fourth quarter, you outscore them 4-0. You complete the comeback to force overtime, win in overtime 1-0 on that Anna Simmons goal. The second one that came from a free position. Break it down for us, though. Like, what goes through a coach's mind during a comeback like that?
Yeah.
Can you feel it coming?
Yes. Yeah, you know, I think at halftime it was just like, okay, we need to reset. We're fine. We're good. We've been in bigger comebacks before. You know, I think that helped us with our history and our leaders on the team, knowing like we've come back from bigger deficit. And so going into that halftime, we just needed to reset. We did all of our reminders of, you know, what ASU's doing, who's scoring, and how to make adjustments against that. And so I think they really locked in on the game plan, locked in on what we were doing with those adjustments, and they were greedy for ground balls. You know, we knew their draw taker was going to be fantastic, and she had most of the draws for the team for whatever ASU got. And so we just knew trying to get it out of her stick, getting it off to the circle, and so winning those draw controls where we could. And then just having those huge shutouts on defense was awesome. Like, not letting them score for the end of the third quarter to the rest of the game.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, and talk about the defense. Break it down for us a little more if you could, Coach. I mean, you mentioned, like, you make the swap and goal, communication changes, you made some other subs. What happened there defensively? What changed? What shifted? What worked?
Yeah, I think them understanding, like, you know, they have their 3 scorers. Like, shut down those 3 people, and we could get some stops.
Scouting report!
Woo! Yeah.
Let's go!
You know, wasn't our first time saying it on game day. And they're all like, thanks for the game plan. I'm like, hey, you know what? Maybe let's implement it right away. Right away would be fantastic. So...
I mean, I can only imagine, though, what goes through you, the rest of your staff's mind, like, because you're like, we can do this, right?
We know this. Yeah, and, you know, I want to give a huge shout out. Our parents and alumni and friends donated the official video review. Yes, and that was momentum changing. Like, getting that call from Gabby's goal not being a crease violation and getting a yellow card against ASU, that was once that happened, I was like, we're winning.
And it was close.
We're winning. That brought us into 3, I think, and then we scored women up, and then that was a win in 2, and then I was like, okay, we got this.
Yes.
We got this.
So to answer the question of you can feel it coming, you did.
Yeah, I can feel my heart rate rising again. Being in that moment, I'm like, please be right. I made the right call. Please be right. Yeah.
And you did.
I was right. I felt really good about making it, and I was like, if this is right, this is going to be huge for this team.
So, you know, it's rare, I guess, that we get an example so early in like a new rule process, but it paid off.
It paid off. Paid off to know the rules.
Wow.
Thanks, Mom.
Wow.
Another shout out.
But for real, like, how has that changed the way even you approach a game, right? 'Cause that was a strategy choice there.
Yeah, for sure. And we knew that cards were going to be happening, and, you know, it helped being able to fight for our team of, like, you know, that's not how I know the rules should be being called right now, and helping them understand that of, like, you just got to make adjustments due to the officials. Like, you can't always win it all, but having that official video review is super helpful for us of, like, we know what we saw, we know what the players felt, and being able to get that call for us was a huge advantage.
1-0 start for Oregon Lacrosse. Head coach Jess Drummond joining us. Anna Simmons, Big Ten midfielder of the week.
Yes, she is.
For good reason.
For great reason. I've said this before. I'm like, you just can't teach that grittiness. Like, you can bring it out of them, but she just shows up and she competes like that every single day. And she makes anyone who's around her that much better. And to me, I know I've talked to her about this, and I know I said it. I knew she was tired going to that overtime, but I'm like, you're going to win this game for us. Like, you have to. You will. You'll find a way to get it done. And she did.
She did.
With the last 15 seconds. Yeah, she did.
Yeah, and that's, well, and then, you know, there's something that I just love about in this sport right now with a golden goal, right? Like,
yeah, right.
That makes it fun.
So fun.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is
5 minutes overtime.
in overtime.
Exactly.
Right, and that I think that adds to I'm sure the blood pressure for a coach isn't great, but that adds excitement. I think it adds excitement to the game.
I know. I feel bad for anyone who wasn't there on Saturday because that was the most electric I've ever felt, Pape. Like, our sideline was the loudest we've ever been. The fans were incredible. It was just so contagious. And I'm like, get out there and feel it because every game is just like that one.
Well, yes, I recognize that this is a little bit of an unfair question because it's still in recent memory, Coach. But what does a win like that to start the season do for your team? How much momentum does it build?
I hope a lot. I hope they walk away from that field knowing how good they are. ASU is a really good team, and we knew that going into that. And, I told them after, I'm like, you just beat a really good team, which means you're a really good freaking team. And so have that confidence, have that swag, step into every game. Like, don't wait for the second half to show up anymore.
Yeah. I had some real FOMO. I need to tell you this.
Yeah, I hope so.
So the way that it worked out, the lacrosse matchup started right around halftime of the basketball game at Purdue. So I was a little busy.
A little.
But shout out to Annie Longtain, affectionately referred to as Academic Annie. Yeah. Annie works in the Jaqua Center, and Annie was on the road with us.
Former lacrosse alum.
That's right, Oregon lacrosse alum. And Annie, I hope you're okay with me telling this story. Annie was very much multitasking during the second half of the basketball game. Like, sure, locked in on a good basketball game at Purdue, but then looking up and then quickly going up, down between her screen watching lacrosse. Then we're on the bus.
Ooh.
And after a loss, the bus is a little quiet, right, for men's basketball, admittedly, and rightfully so. And then there is Annie and I sitting in row 6, just to paint you a picture, and Annie is watching on her iPad, and the tying goal is scored. And remember, this is not very loud. In fact, it's a very quiet basketball bus. And Annie's reaction in pure silence was jumping up and down on the bus. And I just wanted you to know that even though there were some like us that couldn't be there, the FOMO was real, and we did our best to not exclaim on a sad bus ride, but we were there for you.
I appreciate that. I appreciate Duck fans celebrating other Duck wins.
That's right.
That's super nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, our team always watches other games on the bus. It's very fun.
It's
good job.
It was
Andy.
a cool moment. It was a cool moment just to see that, in all seriousness, like, to come to fruition. So, a little bit of momentum, a lot of momentum now, and now you go to San Diego for a couple matchups.
Yeah,
Tell us about what's
super
ahead.
excited. It's nice to be able to get on the road after a win like that. We've got FDU on Saturday, San Diego on Monday, and it's just going to be a battle of gritty and physicality. It's something that these teams both bring, and they're very good at that. And so we just got to find a way to match that. I think, again, playing teams that are really just physical can it can mess with the flow of an attack. And so having that team, like, prepping them this week for that, being prepared for it, knowing that these new rules should work in our advantage with that. So just excited to get on the road again.
Jess Drummond, Oregon lacrosse head coach.
Woo!
Here's to chatting again with a 3-0 record.
Let's go.
See? Manifest.
Yeah, manifest. That's my thing.
Manifest.
And believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
All of the above.
Yes.
Which scrunchie is coming to San Diego?
Yellow.
Okay.
I don't wear green.
But
yet.
I was going to say, yet.
I'm like,
yet.
If it matches the outfit, I'm going to be in green. But most likely yellow.
Important.
Yeah.
Time out. When we come back, some Ducks in the NFL Combine. Keep it here on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
When life blindsides you with an injury, you need a team that's tough. For over 30 years, Morgan & Morgan has been fighting for the people. This season, we're proud to partner with Oregon Athletics. Because whether it's on the field or in the courtroom, we're both determined to do what it takes to win. Morgan & Morgan, proud partner of Oregon Athletics. Injured? Dial pound law. Morgan & Morgan, 10150 Southwest 6th Avenue, Portland. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Duck Insider presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. 9 members of the 25 Oregon football squad have officially received invitations to the NFL Scouting Combine. Coming up end of February, starts on February 23rd. 9 invitees, second most in program history. There were 12 Ducks that were invited last year. 6 of the 9 come from the offensive side of the ball. Malik Benson, Kenyon Sadiq, Noah Whittington, Alex Harkey, E-Man, Emmanuel Pregnon, and Isaiah World. And then Bryce Betcher, Jaden Kennedy, and Dylan Thieneman, all invited from the defensive side. Live coverage of the NFL Combine will begin on February 26th on NFL Network. Combine running here at the end of the month. And hopefully now some guys that we may be talking about in 3-4 years going to the Combine. Let's break them down as we continue to review this Oregon football signing class. We'll sprinkle in these interviews over the course of the next few weeks. Drew Mehringer from our National Signing Day special. He sat down, Duck new offensive coordinator. He sat down with Jerry and myself. Drew Coach Mehringer is now with us. Hey, let us first just congratulate you here in this setting on the role of offensive coordinator.
Oh, appreciate that,
Coach.
Yeah, appreciate that. It's super exciting. God is good. Very blessed, very fortunate here to have the job, but to kind of to the point that Marshall made. The people that you get to work with, I think that makes a huge difference. There's a lot of jobs and a lot of things that we could do in life, but people matter more than anything else. And how great is Marshall, by the way? He's amazing. I tell him all the time. I was like, you were literally made in a lab for this job. You're perfect. I wouldn't change anything.
It works, doesn't it?
Yeah, he's incredible.
So do you know that it's going to be a 20-yard gain when you say, "Oh, we got to play here"?
So there's times I would say that it's it's 20. I'd love to say that every time that I looked at it was going to be 20 yards. That would make life a lot easier for everybody. There's definitely moments when you're like, yep, this is the look. Here it is, guys. Right? If everybody just does their job, right? Well, I think we're going to be in good shape here. It's fun. If they were all 20, we'd be incredible. General typical first and second down, you're looking to gain 4 to 5 yards on every single play, right? If you keep doing that, it's automatic first downs and things like that. So, it is cool. When we're the Penn State 4th and 1 comes up, and there's a big run where I'll talk about the Penn State one, right, where we had a 2-play call, right, and Dante had handled that check really, really well all year and got it, and then it's kind of weird when you're throwing it as far down the field as we threw it on 4th and 1. It was like a 18-yard gain or something like that, and it's a little interesting when you're doing that on 4th and 1. It's like, why can't we just run it for 3 feet? It was the look, and there's a variety of different ways to create explosives in the game. That was one of them. DeGorian ran a great route. Dante did a great job with the check and the throw. Same like when we were playing James Madison. That's probably one of the more recent ones that Marshall was talking about, where it's like, all right, this is exactly the look that we practiced this for, right? We're in a 2-back set. Jordan Davis did an unbelievable job, and Dier ripped off it's probably probably right around 20 yards as well. So I wouldn't say every time, but a lot of times I'm like, oh, this is pretty good. We get fooled every now and then. There's disguises and things like that, but we try to do a good job setting up our formation so we have an idea what
That's
we're
the preparation paying off, though, right?
I was going to say, it's a result of preparation during the week leading up to it.
Yeah, I think that every defense has a weakness. So does every offensive play, right? And Will had a great quote that he used all the time. If there's 70 plays in a game, 10 of them we're gonna have a better play than them. Like it'll be like schemed up or like we have the look, right? 10 they're probably gonna have a better call than us, right? And then there's this 50 in the middle of the game, right, where maybe it's evenly matched, and this is probably true in most games, right? So the goal for us as a staff, right, is to get more than 10, right? Try to take some of the 50, right, and put them into the offensive advantage right here, and take less, from the defense of the defense advantage, and get them back at least to neutral. And some of that's players, and some of that's scheme, some of that's checks and stuff like that. So it's a fun little chess game that we play. I every now and then I get caught thinking about like General George S. Patton, you know what I mean, and Dwight D. Eisenhower right here, right, and they're like in these massive theaters of war right here, and you're just like, woo, like we're doing this for real, So it's kind of interesting, looking at this whole chess game that we play, but live pieces here.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, Coach, what we're going to do here, and to give everyone a little context, so those of you who are listening to the show, do us a favor. We're going to play the film of all of your incoming guys from the high school ranks to really break down the class. A new addition today that you get to tell us about, which is fun. So do us a favor. When you see the video, just give us the name of each guy, and then this is your floor, sir. You get to tell us what you see here on film. So here we go.
Okay, this is Manny. Manny's from Georgetown Prep, one of the largest human beings I've ever met in my life. He's like 6'7", 370. He's the highest-rated offensive lineman that Oregon's ever scored. He's a 5-star recruit, the number 2 offensive lineman in the country. League did an unbelievable job recruiting him. He is he was the Maryland Player of the Year for any position. So he's like a lineman. So this is Kaloy. This is Poncho's little brother, I think. They look exactly alike. It's unbelievable and uncanny. He is he's from Farrington High School, where Poncho went, right? He's moving inside to play center for us. You can see the athleticism that he has. So we're super excited to have him, Polynesian All-American. This is Tommy Tofi, also one of the largest human beings I've ever met in my entire life. He's like 6'6.5". He's like, I think he was like 375 the other day. He's already here. He's the California Offensive Lineman of the Year, right? The number 3 offensive lineman in the country, 4-star player. His dad is actually bigger than him. Is craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. His dad's like 6'9", and played professional basketball in Europe. He was the center for the UTEP team that went to the Final Four, or not the Final Four, to the tournament in the early 2000s. Tredarian Ball, freak athlete, 10,500-meter kid. He is from Texarkana and right down the street from LaMichael James's high school. Wow. Right, Liberty Ilu. He's the only running back. He's the number 4 running back in the country, 4-star player, and the only running back in the country to have both 1,000 yards receiving and 1,000 yards rushing. Freakazoid athlete. Brandon Smith. Brandon Smith's a 4-star running back out of Fresno and Fresno Player of the Year. He had over 3,000 yards rushing in high school and 57 touchdowns. He is a 10-600 meter. So both of our backs right now are not both. We have more. So they can all absolutely run. Kendre Harrison, 5-star, number 1 tight end in the country. 2-time Max Preps National Player of the Year for any sport. Gatorade Player of the Year in North Carolina. He's like 6'7", 250. Freak. Only lost 1 basketball game in his entire high school career. He went 87-1. Wow. Freak. Gatlin Bear, freak. Burley, Idaho, named after Justin Gatlin, the American sprinter that won the gold in 2004. He is 10-1 in the 100 meters. He was the fastest kid in the entire country. He just got done with a 2-year mission. He's a Church of the Latter-day Saints, Jesus Christ and Latter-day Saints. Just got done with a 2-year mission down in Dallas. It just got back to us, so we're super excited to have him. Messiah Hampton. Okay, Messiah is from Rochester. He's the number 1 player in the state of New York. 4-star or 2-time All-State, Gatorade Player of the Year in the state of New York. He's like 6'1", 180. He has played both sides. Was 1,200 yards receiving, 13 touchdowns. he's awesome. Super tough kid, really fast. Really excited to have him. Second guy from Rochester, shout out Jamar Johnson. Hudson Lewis. Hudson Lewis is our third guy that we have from Idaho. We have Kenyon, Gatlin, and Hudson. This is the Gatorade Player of the Year in the state of Idaho. Okay, Hudson's two-time All-State. He caught 62 passes for 1,000 yards and 14 touchdowns. He's also the 100-meter champion for the state of Idaho at a 10.6. So there's a lot of guys that can run, a lot. Great dude. Super excited to have him. Going to probably play in the slot. Jalen Lott, 5-star receiver out of Frisco. If you go to Panther Creek High School, his high school is right across the street from the PGA headquarters for all you golfers out there. He caught 172 passes for 2,400 yards and 36 touchdowns in high school. He's a junior Olympian. He won state in the long jump and high jump. He actually high jumped 7 foot. His dad holds the junior national record at 7'4" in the high jump. So, it was cool. Like, that story is cool for me too. Like, Ross did such a great job with that. His dad went to Texas, right? They're from Texas, and that's back-to-back years that we've signed the number one receiver out of Texas, and they're both 5 stars. DeCorian's had a great freshman season for us, so doing an unbelievable job of going to get really good players out of tough places.
Offensive coordinator Drew Mehringer sitting down with us, breaking down this signing class. We've got more with the new Duck OC coming up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
Hey Duck fans, at Country Financial, they make insurance easy. Whether you're shopping for home, auto, or more, their representatives will take the time to understand your specific needs and explain what options work best for you. Worry less and feel more confident knowing you're covered. Visit countryfinancial.com to get started today. Experience more with Country Financial. Auto and home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, and Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
Your daily dose of Oregon athletics. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force, and I deployed 3 times. Being a veteran, it's interwoven into your DNA. It's really the absence of the connection and the purpose that can really drive a lot of veterans to some negative thoughts. For those who are in a suicidal crisis, the window of time to save somebody's life is very short. Our duty is to protect ourselves and protect our families. And one way you can do that is store your weapons safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
This message is for Karina, our mom who finished her high school diploma at age 28. Hi, Mom. It's Emmettith and Nicholas. Congratulations on getting your diploma. You worked so hard and have taught us so much. We love you.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
I'm coming home to the place that I remember, back to the land of my first love. Would you spread wide your arms for this wayward son?
We're back on Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. Drew Mehringer, Duck Offensive Coordinator, joined us for our National Signing Day special. We continue to break down the offense with the new Duck OC.
What sticks out to me, too, is just and this is true of the whole class, but talking to you specifically on offense, the state player of the year in multiple states, right?
That's right.
You're all over the country, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, it's North Carolina, it's Idaho, it's New York, it's Texas, it's California, it's Maryland, right? And this whole idea of like, hey, we got to recruit regionally. It's like, well, like, no, this is a national brand. And for the PNW, like, we're going to go try and get the best players out of the PNW. Like, we're going to do everything that we can, right, to keep players that are really good close to home. But we're going to also go get the best players in the country and create the best competition that we can for our team and the best product that we can on the field.
A couple of things I noticed with this class: size and speed. I mean, you got the big guys along the line, but you got some receivers and running backs that can just go. How excited? I mean, I'm listening to you talk about it and watching some of this. How excited are you to get these guys in and get your hands on them?
So it's cool. I think, Manny's not here yet and Jalen Lott's not here yet, but I think pretty much Brandon Smith's not here yet, but everybody else is here. So I've been working out and training, and we gave the vets, the previous guys, a few weeks off, so we've had a chance to be around just the newcomers for the last couple of weeks, and just them, and they're hungry. They want to get in there, they get in the mix. But to the point that Marshall said, character matters. Like, these are really good kids. They're really good people. They come from great homes and great families. And that's the people at the end of the day that you want to be around. I have a 4-year-old son. I brought my son up to workouts the other day, and every one of them are high-fiving him and dapping him up, and you're just looking and you're like, hey, man, like, it's easy for me to tell my son, you need to, like, these are people to emulate and model yourself after. He's 4 and in love with Iron Man, so I don't know if he totally gets it right now. I think he's just trying to emulate Iron Man. But, for me, like, as my children, I've got 3, as they grow, these are the people that you want them to see and model themselves after.
We were talking about character with Marshall, and that's kind of what you're alluding to, Coach. And, how do you evaluate that? It's kind of a difficult thing to do, isn't it?
Yeah. I think the best way, I think the adage of it's not what you say, it's what you do, and what you do in tough times when it's not really going your way, right? Or like the point that Marshall said, right? Like when all of a sudden somebody puts down an NIL contract in front of you, do you act different? Like, or all of a sudden, hey, somebody labels you a 5-star, right? Or somebody says you're the X player of the year, like. Or all of a sudden, are you different, right? Is it who you are, right? Or are you a product of what people have said about you? And so I think the strength of character matters so much. And when all of these things start coming to you, right, if none of them matter to you, you're blessed and you're grateful and humble, right, and you don't think anything is owed to you. For me, like, not everybody, but for me, where does faith fit in your life, right? Do you go to school? What do your teachers say about you? What do your coaches say about you? We still do this. Like, you pop around and you go talk to the guidance counselor. Like, what do they say about you? And you get this overarching picture of who this human being is, and do they make sense for the culture that Coach Lanning has created here. Do they fit? There's a lot of talented players out there, but there's probably more stories of talented players that didn't make it, right, because of letting outside influences, exterior, noise, whatever you want to call it, right? Coach Lanning calls it the machine, right? Dictate who you are and what you do. So we try to look at all of those things and find the right kind of guys. I believe Chris Peterson termed it like OKGs, like our kind of guys. And so that term I think is very applicable to what we do.
For you as a coach, when you get those kind of guys, I'm sure you've been in situations in your coaching career when you don't have those character guys. When you get those character guys, you get to do more or spend more time coaching and teaching than worrying about the kid you brought in.
Yeah, I think that, so we've all had jobs. I know, like, Hamp he's had plenty of jobs. I've had plenty of jobs where you are like, all right, we're going to coach this kid today. You know what I mean? We're going to let's just find a way to get through to him, right? If we can do it, we can do it, And every kid's worth fighting for, right?
Yes,
if they're on your team, every kid's worth fighting for. But to your point of, I tell the guys, like, I don't wake up in the morning hoping that I have to correct some behavior or, I wake up this morning hoping to make you better at football, right? Put you in a position to go achieve your dreams, right? That's why I started coaching, right? I love the game. I love teaching the game. I love coaching this game. I love being around the players. Like, that's the best part of this job. I don't wake up, right, ready, and discipline's part of it, right? These guys think that they're grown. They're not grown yet, but by the time they leave our program, they should be. And we're going to do everything in our power to do that. But I wake up hoping to push you another step further, right, toward us winning championships, you getting drafted, you going on to the NFL, right? Because I think the greatest thing that you can do with your life is give it to somebody else. You get more joy from somebody else's, being a part of somebody else's success than you do your actual own. And so being a part of their lives and these light bulb moments that come on, like, Coach, I did it, and I'm like, I know, this is so awesome, So, yeah, I think when you have great character, quality kids that are great players, it makes it a lot more fun to coach, and you spend way more time coaching than you do anything else.
Drew Mehringer, offensive coordinator. So now I'm going to leave you with this to transition to Coach Hamp. What's it like going against their defense all the time?
Oh, my gosh. So, actually, Hamp and I were just doing we're talking about what we're going to do for winter, like what they're going to put in, when they're going to put it in, what we're going to put in, all that kind of stuff. And I'm just, like, kind of looking at the list, and I'm like, my goodness, like – what do they not have, and they do such a good job, I think, of putting it all together and packaging it to getting all of their players to do so many different things. And I think as on the offensive side, things look the same, right? And when things look the same, then there creates hesitation from the quarterback, and on top of the fact that they've got super talented edge rushers, right? Like, you can't stand back there and just hold the football and somebody will come open, eventually. Like, you're not. Like, you're going to get, Mateo or Tatum or Nas or somebody's going to just smoke you coming around the edge. So it makes it hard in practice. But by the time that we've come to a game, right, we've probably seen something very similar to it, and we can refer back to that. And it forces our guys, us as coaches, to learn more ball. So the Michael Jordan quote, if I practice so hard, oftentimes the games were easy. That's kind of the model that we're trying to create here, right? That we've got a lot of stuff on offense. They've got a lot of stuff on defense, right? How do we, take that and mold it into the right stuff, right? But create a really, really competitive team that makes them super challenging to go against, right? And hopefully it does the same for us, for them. So,
Coach Mehringer, thank you for your time, sir.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much.
Appreciate it. He's the man. I'm really looking forward to working more with Coach Mehringer now in an elevated role. He talks with the media more as a coordinator. He and Chris Hampton, which, by the way that we're going to do this, for those of you that missed our signing day special, we'll have the interviews for you on Duck Insider here the rest of the way. Chris Hampton, Marshall Malco still coming up. Coach Lanning was on with us last Wednesday. Encourage you to check that out via our various on-demand options for Duck Insider. Hey, congratulations just coming out today. Senior base Blesson McMorris has been named the NCATA Athlete of the Week. Ducks 1-0 in acrobatics and tumbling. Great start to the season. Hey, tomorrow Chris Clayton's with you. Women's basketball preview, more baseball season preview. See you then.
You said you'd never buy your kid candy from the checkout aisle. Or forget extra diapers. You'd never lick your thumb to clean their face. Never, ever become a minivan mom. So when you say you'd never leave your child in a hot car, know it can happen. Cars get hot fast.